It went south real quick.
I spoke too soon.
Whoa, it's hard to see under that.
Get me out of here!
Not today it isn't.
Save the girl!
Alright, that's lit. Let's go for that. Whoa, that came around that quick. The problem here on the lanes, while it comes down, there's something covering them.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see, you don't see it the whole time.
What was your score on that one?
Wait, let's not forget this. I'll do it on my phone.
Nice job, lads.
There's some other new features, guys.
It knew I was up to play. You get calories. Even though, just let it bounce. Story of my life.
I want to remove this welcome to live chat thing. It's really bothering me. On
Yeah,
YouTube.
that's really weird.
It had something like that on Twitch, but it was just like you had to sign in. On the program. Don't forget, this is a sub you don't have a score on, so you gotta take pictures.
Seems like a lot.
Alright, we got. Welcome to Love Chat.
What? What site are you on?
I meant to type in welcome to live chat.
Well, you should leave it at welcome to love chat. You might get more people.
Nice job, lads.
Alright, so let's bring this up. I don't like the way this is working. There it is. Oh my, look at this. This is new, folks. I didn't even know this. Check this out. iScored has its own little thing right here.
Oh.
At least you can see. I mean, you can't type it in here. But we can, instead of having to look, we can just pause and go here.
We got a beat. Okay.
VPIN Mania's got its own. So we can see Gorgatron has the highest score in this, which I have a higher score on that. All right, plunger skills. Shoot scores 10,000 to 100,000. Last switch hit on the way up registers score. Okay, I see that. Put out fires as quickly as possible for highest scores. Makes sense. Lower left 3 blank drops right ramp for entry on left building. Lower right drops left right for entry on right building. Top center turnaround shot raises fire plug. That's a multiplier. That's for that in the middle. All right, I understand what's going on now. Nope. Nope. Nope.
It's spreading.
Okay, there it is.
I'm trapped.
Is that a ball lock? Fireman trap. I just watched that not that long, but I was like, I haven't seen this in so long. Because I talked about it.
Did you?
I talked about that I saw it. Like, briefly I did. Oh, no! There's a plunger part that comes up that
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
One big bump off of it.
There's a Backdraft 2 that came out in 2018 starring William Baldwin because he hasn't done anything else since Backdraft 1. They couldn't even get old Robert De Niro to come back, and that guy would be in anything.
I have zero memory, but I
Nice
rewatched
job, lad.
something. I'll think of it.
How many Meet the Fokker type of roles has he done in the last 25 years? They're always Dirty
Break the
Grandpa,
window.
like all those like Robert De Niro movies are pretty much he just plays the same person.
And
And I'm like, he's like one of the best actors ever.
But it's easy money for him. He just has to like do his regular thing.
But the thing is that he enjoys acting. He
Sure.
still does.
But also he enjoys money. Right?
I mean, he's having kids at 80, so.
He's enjoying a lot. If you're still spry
But
at
you-
80,
I mean,
you have joy.
the
in your
last
life.
movie that I saw the last 2 movies were both Martin Scorsese
Another engine.
movies. So he was in that Killers of the Flower Moon,
Oh yeah, I watched that.
which that was like he was really good. Like that's the Robert De Niro I expect when
Yeah.
I see him. And then he was in The Irishman, also Martin Scorsese. So,
Oh yeah, I watched that one too. There's 2 movies.
but
I
outside
actually
of that, it's Dirty Grandpa and playing the part.
That's because he could film them in a weekend and make a bunch of money. I would do the same if that's your side gig.
But it just, I keep track of that stuff more than other people in my group, and I've heard of there's a big reason why we see Nicolas Cage in 80 movies is because he fucking was buying everything. He was buying fucking weird fine art, anything weird. He bought so much shit. His accountant fucked him up, and he literally was like, I have to shoot 4 or 5 movies a year, right? So I know that there's a lot of people that you would see do that. They had financial problems, but he does not. And Al Pacino, of the same generation, still everything Al Pacino does is, besides Jack and Jill, is still top notch.
You don't think it's like one of his like
He
This is
owns
our nephew.
Naboo. He owns all these like expensive. Robert De Niro's worth like he's one of the most highest worth actors.
Right.
He does not
But
need
I'm
the
saying,
money.
okay, you're Robert De Niro. His like great niece or nephew is like, hey, uncle, gotta go to college, and he's like, okay, let me do a quick 4-week acting gig and just pay for your
That's
college.
3 weeks of my fucking interest. Like,
Man.
but he's some. What I'm saying is just it's
He's like, I
odd
need a
for
new-
someone
I
who
need a new yacht.
cared his entire life so much about his. He's such a method actor in his filmography and all of that you would throw all of that away at the end.
But it hasn't. Like,
It does. Like he's like people don't go to see Robert De Niro in a movie now expecting it's gonna be good. That it's the argument why I understand why Tarantino's like, I'm making 10 movies and that's it. That's it, because he's like, if you look at these people when they get older, they start doing things A, for the wrong reasons, or for B, their creative influence starts to get so disjointed from the culture that these directors and stuff can't. What are you gonna make a fucking movie on the pulse of fucking, really, Pulp Fiction, most of his movies were the pulse really of the 70s, they just happened to come out in the 90s. That he's like, I'm already losing touch. Like his last movie is supposed to be called The Critic, but he squashed it. He's like, I'm not gonna make it because it's his last movie, so I don't think he's ever gonna make it.
yeah.
Because what's gonna be good enough, right? To end your career on.
The last one's gotta be the ultimate. So.
For every person like Spielberg who still gets nominated for Oscars and can still do popcorn flicks and do that other stuff, you have a lot of directors who, when they get old, just turn out fucking shit. Just absolute garbage. Francis Ford Coppola. Like any generation now that's younger is gonna think of Megalopolis. And they're not going to think of The Godfather. They're not going to think of Apocalypse Now because of how huge of a blunder that is. In Hollywood, you're only as good as your last fucking movie. And that's what I'm saying is he doesn't need the money. He doesn't even need to do it for his niece. He could do absolutely nothing. He's choosing to do these roles. I'm trying to think of what possibly could have changed where you're like, I'm still willing to do these, Martin Scorsese movies, but nobody's sending Robert De Niro good scripts? Come on.
True.
Because I just saw, earlier this year, I saw that show that Al Pacino's in. It was like, basically about these like, it's called Hunters. Have you heard of it?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So, but like that was made not that long ago, right? And he's amazing in that. It's still fucking Al Pacino. The only thing I can say that Al Pacino's ever done that was throwaway was Dunkachino in fucking Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler. And he thought he was just doing it to be, I'm gonna be hip and be funny, and he's just not that type of person. So it was just a huge disconnect.
Weren't they supposed? Did they make a second Hunters?
But he's not in it.
Nice job, lad.
It's not good. First one I fucking love.
It was one of those things that was only supposed to be one season.
Yeah. Those are other things too. Those are other choices that I wish there were less sequels to a really great movie, less second seasons to a really fire just single season of something.
Yeah, like how are they gonna do a second season of Shogun when there's no book to write?
Yeah, it was just a
I mean,
story.
is it possible? Sure. I mean,
But it's gonna not be great.
but
We
no,
can
I mean,
agree.
it's possible that these people that already adapted it are working with the people that the dude's family who wrote the book and all that other stuff. They worked with them on the adaptation. It definitely could happen. Why is it the only Star Trek series besides Stranger Worlds? I'll give Stranger Worlds. But the only other series that feels like Star Trek is Lower Decks. And Eugene Roddenberry is fucking executive producer on that. It's still part of the family. Like
Okay.
when Tokens Estate works with a company to make a game based on Lord of the Rings, at least there's a higher chance. Even if it's an original story that's not based on a novel, it's still a chance that it's part of the family. Like, sure, maybe it's not going to be as good, but at least there's some chance that those people care at all about their legacy. It's going to be the people's family, at least somewhat. I know a lot of people right now, not a lot of people, the loudest people, let's be honest. The loudest people on the internet are bitching about the second season of Squid Games. I like the second season. It wasn't even a retread of the first. I mean, he does go back to the games or whatever, but I thought that he took his time. He waited 3 years to make a second season. And then he shot season 2 and 3 back to back, end of story. That's it. So like, it's not a cash grab in that way. Like he's like, I'll do it. It's not like the Joker movie, which was obviously a cash grab.
Yeah.
Didn't need a sequel. So it's definitely a slippery slope. But a lot of series now, limited series, they only say limited until it's popular.
Yeah.
For instance, Dexter, one of the worst endings of any TV show, right? So we get another Dexter show, which has a controversial ending, but for a different reason. That's it. Michael C. Hall, it's like, I'm done. I'm not going to play Dexter again. We now have a Dexter prequel that is now airing, where in the beginning of it, he survives the end of the last one where he was fucking shot and killed. And there's also a sequel series coming out that's after this last revival they just had of Dexter. Now, I want to watch Original Sin because apparently it's really fucking good, the prequel. Because it's like, Christian Slater is like, his dad's still alive, so it's not...
Slater has been great.
And playing that type of role is exactly the same role he plays in Mr. Robot, so I already know he could do it.
Yeah.
So... I was just thinking, because I was getting caught up on news that fucking... I haven't seen enough people talking about... Don't you think that the dude who killed the CEO, whatever, he just watched Mr. Robot and then went out and fucking did it? Because that's exactly what I thought when I heard about it. So I'm like, this is some Mr. Robot shit. I mean, they hacked, but I mean, the same way.
It's so funny you bring that show up again. Yesterday I was talking with a friend he was like really, he was in a mood, and he's like, I just want to punch somebody. And I'm like, oh, what was that show where somebody hired a bum and just beat the shit out of him? I was like, oh, it's Mr. Robot. It was like that weird, the German guy or whatever, remember? He
Yeah.
pays the bum $300 to beat the shit out of him to get their steam off. Damn. Psycho. I wouldn't have to find a bum. I think most of my friends, if I'm like, hey, I'll pay you $300 to just hit you in the jaw really hard.
But what the problem comes, what if your medical bills are more than $300?
No, then that's the contract. It's whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, so...
But I give you $300 cash, but I need to get some aggression out and just try to beat the shit out of you.
Well, I just watched earlier this week the documentary about Jerry Springer show.
I didn't know there was a documentary on that.
Yeah, Netflix. Because the 90s are popular right now, so there's a bunch of like 90s
Isn't
stuff
that
that's getting
crazy
documented.
how popular it is?
Because last decade was the 80s, so like those people
okay.
are now in their 30s, so like that's how it works.
It just makes me feel
Nostalgia
old.
works when you are...
Vintage.
Well, no, it's when people are usually more settled down with their family, they got a little bit of money or whatever typically, so they go back and they're like, I remember this. And those are the people that are writing, they're making movies, they're music producers, all those people become part of pop culture. And so that's what happens. And just like in the 2030s, it'll be the 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah, which would be insane to me. That feels weird.
But I was watching it, and I always watched Jerry Springer when I was homesick and Jerry Springer was on. I always watched it if it was on and I was
me
sick.
too. And it
And
was
like,
it
but
syndicated
the
in the evening
uproar
later.
that it got, I knew that it wasn't well received by a lot of people. But I did. If you watch the documentary, it is way more further. Like I didn't know like that there was like a murder that was related to the show that they like had to go to court.
Oh, like a murder.
Yeah,
I gotta watch this
so
now.
that it was. So they had a bunch of people that worked on the show, and what was really interesting
Better score.
is that it was long believed until I always thought at some point they had to just tell these people what to do, right?
Right.
But that's not what they did at all.
They just hired crazier people.
No. So first off, there's the Springer Triangle, which is like pretty much Missouri, Kentucky, like almost everybody that was ever on that show
that tracks.
is within a triangle. And what they would do is they would get them, they'd fly them out, they would put them in a limo, get them a bunch of booze, all this other fun, and then their job, the producer's job, was literally to get them so psyched and pissed off before they went on that they'd be like, what kind of secret do you think he's going to give you? Like, they would purposely get people that were easily manipulated, and they would go out pissed off. And so it one time backfired. There was this nice lady who came on, and it was like she was trying to reconnect with her husband. And the husband was an asshole, but that's beside the point. And he said, I'm actually sleeping with this girl, and we're married, and that, like, just humiliated her. She walked off the show. And what the producers would do is if they walked off the show and they didn't want to continue, they said, if you want your plane ticket home,
You gotta come back. Wow.
she didn't care. She was like, fuck you, and left. So it's months later when it airs, right? So dude was trying to get back with her after that, and she was like, after he was obviously embarrassed, she was embarrassed. She's like, I want nothing to do with you. And he she got a restraining order on him, and then from the courthouse he went to the bar. His episode aired, so he's watching the episode.
Oh, damn.
And then he goes and kills her.
What? I thought that's a twist. I thought you were gonna say she murdered him.
No, he killed her.
Oh God.
And so they tried to like subpoena like all the people from the Springer show and all this other stuff. But what happened is that, and supposedly this was just accidental, they went to like the Caribbean and did Springer for like 2 weeks in the Caribbean. And it was to dodge the subpoenas. Nobody got subpoenaed because they were out of the country.
What a movie.
The guy, I forget his name, but the guy who was the producer of that show, fucking trippy. Like, he was the guy who would write the bat fucking face dude. Remember the World News and the Weird National Enquirer headlines?
Yeah.
That was his job. He was the guy who created those headlines. They hired him because Jerry Springer's show was just like an Oprah at first. It was nothing like that. And because Jerry Springer was an Emmy-winning newscaster. He was a politician. He was like Jerry Springer was actually one of the nicest people in the world, right? And they were like, we're gonna get canceled. They are airing them at like 2 a.m. So he came on and he said, well, if they're gonna air us at 2 a.m, let's air a show that should be at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And their first couple seasons were more like freaks and weirdos and all that other stuff. It wasn't until like a couple seasons in they started doing the fighting, but they ended up beating Oprah, which no other daytime show did.
Never.
Because Oprah started talking shit. And he was like, all right, bitch, because she was talking down. And they never said anything bad about Oprah or anybody else.
She just started in.
She was like, it's trash, all this other stuff. And so it drove more people to watch it,
Absolutely.
even her people. Because it's the train wreck. That's what people wanted to see.
This is all like visualized like Charlie Day. Board in the yarn. Like,
Yeah.
Connecting the dots. Like, wow. Some contact.
Well, yeah, because I was a teenager, so I wasn't like paying attention. Like, I definitely was not watching a lot of news.
Right.
at the time. So the outrage, like he had to go in front of the Senate because they were trying to get the show canceled, like in about free speech, and they're saying it's fake and all this other shit. Then they're trying to say, well, then you're liable if people hurt each other, like all this crazy shit. And obviously every time in our history, thank God, anybody is there to try to stop something that was free speech has always been like, absolutely cannot. And he said, it is not our responsibility.
I'm sure they had waivers.
If people want to watch it, is it the people that create it or the people that want to watch it that are the problem?
Right.
If it was so bad and nobody watched it, they wouldn't be on the air. Dude gave people exactly what they wanted, which is just fucking freaks and weirdos. But the best episode that really got them the highest ratings is the dude who married his horse. Really did. Like and I was like, this is subconsciously how I started the Granny Goodness. I probably saw that episode. Like he's like making out with the horse. He like left his wife for the horse.
It's a thing.
Yeah, one of the producers, the guy, he's like talking. He's like, I get this call because their job was so stressful. They had to deliver every single time, and since they had 300 episodes a year, it basically meant that the producers were in charge of doing 40 shows a year, and that's a lot to bring to that level. But there's a lot of behind the scenes where you see them like hyping people up, and I mean, you can definitely say that they are manipulating the situation, but though a lot of those people, at some point you had seen Springer, so you can't be surprised that somebody's gonna be like cheated on you, or you're banging your sister's mom and you didn't know.
That's how I felt like during like the Ricky Lake and Jenny. How do people go
Jenny
on that?
Jones was the first one who had somebody. Somebody was killed after the show.
I know that one.
That one never aired either.
I didn't know that one happened on Springer.
Yeah, that one.
Jenny Jones got.
The difference is that because the Jerry Springer one was different because it had been months, and you can't say that the ambush. The guy was the one who ambushed the chick. First off, he didn't get ambushed. So you can't say it's directly related.
Yeah.
Now, if I ambush you and then later on you come back and kill me that day, that's what happened with Jenny Jones.
Yeah.
It happened the same day.
Yeah, it was very close. She's crazy. Jenny Jones looks like a 4th grade teacher.
She had Jenny Jones. Most of her episodes were like, I used to be ugly and now I'm hot. And I used to watch that as spank bank stuff.
They used to bring back. It would
when I
be
didn't have cable.
Or I loved Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake did this, where they brought somebody back who thought they really had. Now we would call it glow up, right?
The makeovers?
They just did it to themselves, and they're like, oh, I want to bring back my crush from like long ago.
Yeah.
And then the dude, it was always a chick doing it. So the dude would come out and he's like, okay, you were still crazy. Like every single time, it was the same plot. And I'm like, why do these chicks do this? Why do they want to bring somebody back?
I think that the best of those formats. I mean, Jerry Springer's definitely up there. Because you always knew not just the fights, but you always knew it was going to be like the most ghetto that you, white trash, black trash, Mexican trash, trashy people in general that you don't even think are real. You're like, these are characters.
Yeah.
You always knew you're going to get the trash that make you feel better about your life, no matter how low you are. But the best format was fucking Maury.
Oh.
You are the father. Those were the fucking best.
Perfect anticipate, like the what is it? The anticipation, the tension, yeah.
Because this is why I don't watch. This is why a big reason why I don't have regular TV isn't just because like commercials and stuff. Because I could easily get sucked into some fucking Real Housewives shit. Like if something's on enough, I'll find a way. I'll naturally find a connection when I watch any type of entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
when I was younger, it was the same thing. Like, I watched the beginning. I watched The Real World when that started. I watched The Osbournes when that was on.
Oh, yeah.
The Amazing Race when that started. Big Brother when that started. American Idol. Like, so, like, that's too much to keep track of.
It's a lot.
So now, at least if I have control, I'm not gonna go on Hulu and watch Real Housewives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, if it's on,
When it's live, yeah. I mean, not live per se, but I know what you mean. Current.
it was. I can't remember what show it was. I've never even heard of it before. It was like some judge show, but it was like
Move the hose.
Saturday Night Live was doing a parody of like People's Court, but it was real. Like, I thought it was a thing, and me and Katie were watching it one night, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so every time that we went to sleep after drinking, we either did one or two things. We watched that show, we got sucked into whatever the fuck it was, because it was always like, it was like Jerry Springer mixed with the People's Court.
Like, first of all, that was great.
It was like Jerry Springer versus the People's Court, basically. And yeah, I definitely got caught up in that.
Like, what was that guy's name? Judge Brown or whatever?
Yeah.
His was like that. There was another couple.
Springer was a judge for a while too. I mean, he had a
Yeah,
show.
yeah, he did. I remember that.
Move the hose.
I got super stoned one night, just like a year or two, and I watched Judge Harvey.
Which one?
Steve Harvey.
Oh, Steve, that was good though. That was a good little run. Oh God.
I haven't heard of that. Whatever was going on there.
The fire.
I mean, that makes sense.
I'm getting my best score now. I'm like getting better every time. I've had enough alcohol. My pinball scores go up. Could be a problem.
But I'm curious, viewers, what is your guilty pleasure reality show that you watch or used to watch? Maybe it's not on the air anymore. They had one. It was only on for one season, and I thought it was. You know how they had those like
Oh, I still got ball three.
celebrity rehab ones?
Yeah.
They had one. It wasn't rehab, but it was kind of like either washed up or like problematic wrestling stars.
Oh.
They had like Roddy Piper before he died. They had Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They had Mean Gene Okerlund.
I love Mean Gene.
They had, and Mean Gene was just like pimping. Like, he was just like making martinis at like 7 a.m.
I love it.
And it was like they had like challenges they had to do
What am
or
I
whatever.
doing your initials for? How do I go back?
Yeah, that's it.
Too many drinks.
I wish that one had a second season. Because when I got
Nice job, lad.
Peacock, they have anything that WWE, any TV show that they've ever done or movie, right? And I saw that and I'm like, what is this? How do I not know that this show exists? And it was super sad because Piper and Duggan became like besties. And then like 3 months after the show ended, Piper died. And so like they had like an epilogue on the show, and like you could just see like Duggan was just like so tore up. Like, to be, you know, the older you get, the harder it is to make friends like that, right?
Agreed.
And to be like in your 60s and like to, you know, you go through these things where you have a lot of fair weather friends in any type of entertainment business, to get as close as they got and then to have somebody like die that quickly after that, like, yeah, that was super sad. But it was a really good show. They had like fucking Tony Atlas, like he was super douche. And I felt like that was perfect because those people knew how to fake it without it looking fake, because they had to pretend to do shit all the time.
Exactly.
So if you're going to do a reality show, why not just have wrestlers? 007's chick watches that one that's like Wrestling Wives or some shit. I was like, I can't get
The
involved.
only one I follow, the only wrestling wife I follow online is Matt Hardy's wife.
True. This is going off, popping off here, folks.
She's a wrestler. Yeah, Ruby Sky. She's like somebody I would just like genuinely hang out with. Like it's not like her persona or something.
Yeah.
It's just who she is. It's I guess attractive.
I thought you were gonna say Lydia. That was
Scary Sherry is who I really want to
She was on. They had her on this season of Dark Side of the Ring.
be. Oh, okay, I'll have to watch that.
She had.
Yeah, she has a lot of cocaine, right? A lot of cocaine.
I mean, not just that. She was in an era where women were definitely not respected as they are now.
Right.
So she had to fight twice as hard, and she was more regulated just to being chauffeur for everybody. But she was so memorable.
Yeah.
She did it so well, and she was always willing to take a big bump. Like she would try to help, when she was the manager of Shawn Michaels for a while.
Yeah.
Like when she'd try to help him, she would take big falls. So like a lot of people then, they took fucking pills, and it led to opioids.
It was crazy.
And opioids is definitely not a lifelong drug. It will not. People, you start popping that shit like that, you hit your usual the 50, some people's hearts start going out. Or they just start getting to a point where they have to take so much that you just overdose, That sounds like a cat.
Not compared to your nighttime window. My neighbor has a lot of cats, and they love to just come in our yard. We don't have
We'd
cats
love
in
to.
our yard. They're on fence, but they hang out in our yard upstairs. But I swear the past 3 months there's one cat. I don't even think it's in heat. I think it's wrong with it at night. It's right outside the window. For like 2 hours. Like 3 a.m. too. It's not even like 11.
Oh shit.
Oh, pony is trapped.
Get
Another
that!
engine.
Real House Fires of Denver.
Yeah. But sometimes that cat sounds like a baby crying, and it's really disturbing.
Just enough to like catch you off. You're like, oh, it's just that cat. So if a baby really was injured next to you,
I'm ignoring it because I'm like, it's a fucking cat.
I mean, I would just ignore the baby anyway, but that's just me. I'm just not a baby person.
It's about time.
At our age,
That's what we're doing. Oh, I thought it was up.
Oh, damn.
Is this alright?
Here's your phone. You were at 1.22.
Oh shit, I got it.
Yeah.
Fuck! Fuck, it was up.
Your bonus. I shouldn't have said it. I cursed it. I'm sorry. Okay, 1.19. Okay, what do I got? Last time was 1.07. Okay. No.
We lost her.
Not aggressive enough with the nudges on this. I mean, when it's on that edge, though, I could nudge it a little bit more. The inlane. It's really adding up to something big.
Next up, we have the table Comet. Nobody has a score on that.
Okay.
Well, no, not nobody.
Oh, find the trap.
Oh, that was new.
Another engine.
That's my soul leaving my body when I get a bad score.
Captain Fantastic, we've never put a score on. We played the real one, but not the virtual one. I don't know which version I have. I don't think I have that. There's a cool sound mod one that somebody did, so it feels like they make it sound like it's like Elton John playing like at a small little venue. Super cool. This guy used to do all these really cool sound mods in the old EM tables. Come off it! 2 times bonus for good old 6 grand. 112 billion.
It's about time.
Oh, come on! No ball save on a trick like that? Yeah, well, then it's also